Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another recap video for you guys. Married at First Sight, Boston, season 14, episode 12 recap. And this one is settling in or just settling. So, we're going to unpack all of the drama in this particular episode. But before we get started, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button. And also feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. So, without further ado, let's talk about this mess. And I mean mess, because it looks like the further we get into the season, the messier and messier it gets. So I don't know. It just seemed like with a couple of these matches, I don't know if it's overly produced or if they just put people together purposely that are technically bad matches. But we had activities this week such as driving lessons and cooking meals and couples just trying to settle in to their everyday domestic life. There's conversation about employment versus unemployment, um, budgets, friendships, families. I mean, seriously, it's a lot to get into. So let's jump into this recap without further ado. And the first couple we're going to talk about is Lindsay and Mark. So it's interesting. We see Mark take the initiative to create a whiteboard with activities for both he and his wife to spend quality time together. Now, I don't know if that idea would work for every couple, but I mean, it's actually a pretty cool idea, especially when it comes to the fact that this will get them to kind of make some compromises with each other. However, he does find himself frustrated with this whole vegetables and stuff. It looked like every vegetable she picked at that grocery, or I think it maybe even been a fruit market or fruit and vegetable market. I don't know. But I mean, she was picking every fruit and vegetable, some we know of, some we've never heard of. And yeah, they are supposed to be on this strict budget. Now, I mean, to Lindsay, she think it's all good intentions, but you only got $150 to spend, and I think they went 40% over. Now, I know in some of the comment sections, people were saying there was like $400 that they spent. Yikes! But he was frustrated, and then now Lindsay is in on her wits end with Mark again. Now, it does seem like they were trying to get along, but she gets frustrated that he makes declarations on camera that he never follows through. So she's making a declaration about him. Things really came to head when we saw that he did something to upset her while he was doing laundry. I mean, yeah, all of the incidents that we're seeing with this couple is definitely beginning to stack up. And to Mark, it probably looks like she's going off about something small, not really realizing that her frustration has been building from all of these incidents that are stacking. And even some of them are even unrelated. So, the problem with these two is whether they can communicate effectively, but they may just be too different from each other. So Mark ends up meeting with one of his female friends, and they talk about the up and down in their relationship. She, however, picks up on the fact that their communication needs a lot of work, and she also tells him to stop shutting down and holding grudges. Later, they get into another argument about their problems. Now, Mark was trying to express his feelings, but Lindsay feels that he's trying to put all the blame on her. And then, she said that he's not taking accountability. But after she tries to kind of touch him on his arm, he kind of pulls back. I mean, and she get pissed off and she leaves the apartment. Even though they had he had a photo shoot that he planned for them. And I mean, it was real awkward trying to watch both of them sit up there with all them cats until at one point he was actually taking a cat photo by himself. I mean, eventually, of course, they were able to participate, but they had a standoff to even get to that point. So I don't know how these two are going to figure this out because they're just two different people, two different thoughts. And I feel sad for Mark because of the fact that he actually, this is his second go around. So I mean, he wasn't selected for season 6. Now here's season 14, and then they partner him with Lindsay, who it's just not working, and it's so unfortunate because you know it, to try twice to get on this show, and then when you finally get on this show, you're paired with someone that's just not a good fit. I know he has to be disappointed. So we'll have to definitely see what happens, with these two. So let's talk about this couple, Noy and Steve. So Noy is still holding firm to her wanting to have 3 kids. And in order to see if he's ready, she decided to kind of test him by taking him to the groomer to get the dog taken care of, kind of see how he, interacts as a dog dad. I mean, I think, in my opinion, he did pretty good. I think he passed the test. Then Steve hang out with Mark a little bit later, venting about some of the things that still weigh on him in their relationship. He said at times he doesn't feel like Noy fully trusts him and believe him. Um, and he's contributing, listen to this, 3 times the amount of his wife financially. Again, 3 times the amount of his wife financially. But because he doesn't have a typical 9 to 5 job, she's still not comfortable. He wants, the space to kind of be creative and do the things to make him happy, but he feels like he would have to change to make his wife happy. I mean, you are going to make some compromises. You can't live like two single people in a interdependent relationship, and in this case, marriage. But this man is taking care of you. I mean, he's doing financially his part. The only difference is that you're working from home, but he's positioned himself and created a lifestyle where he's being more efficient on how his money is flowing in, and that's still a problem for her. I mean, I don't get it. Noy, it seems like she kind of wants some confirmation that he will be able to bring in steady income into the household in the future. Because I mean, granted, savings don't last forever, but I honestly think with him being freelance and self-employed, if he consistently works and he has the formula that has made him money up to this point, and he's continuing to do that, hopefully that money will continue to come in. But unbeknownst to her, a 9 to 5 is not guaranteed either. The pandemic the last couple years was definitely uh, a demonstrator of that. And especially even in his case, because he lost his 9 to 5 as a sales engineer due to the pandemic. So, jobs aren't guaranteed either. If these companies decide to cut the bottom line and they got to cut different jobs or positions and, certain departments, that's not a guarantee. Your livelihood is in the hands of somebody else. So, obviously, Noy sees it differently. So, Steve, of course, is now also feeling unappreciated because he does a lot of stuff around the house. I mean, she's pretty much delegating tasks to him as if he was her personal assistant. Now, he tries to assert himself, and kind of speak up for himself and ask that, I think we're going to need to split these tasks equally. And she literally tells him to kiss her ass. Now, if you watch the after party, um, Keisha asked about that, and she said that's a playful banter that goes on between them. So they were joking, and they both knew they was joking, I guess, but the way that it was portrayed was otherwise. Um, and the thing is that names such as brat, because he called her that she was starting to come off like a brat. Sushi isn't his dog. he shouldn't, of course, be expected to solely take care of him, is what his thoughts are. And he said that he shouldn't also be the only one contributing to the household chores. It's not like he isn't paying bills. In fact, he's contributing more money than she is, according to him. So, I hope she don't mess this up. I mean, these two really don't have any, relationship issues. It's just basically this whole thing with the finances and who does what in the house. And yeah, it's pretty interesting because I mean her being stuck on that and then telling him to do everything and then she gets to have a conversation. And we're going to talk about that conversation that Noy had with her sister. So another thing that was really interesting that kind of struck a chord with Steve was that Noy told him that she isn't ready to move in together after this whole experiment is over. She doesn't think it's a big deal for them to live apart for a while. Now, of course, Steve and probably any other husband that's here for a wife coming into his experiment wouldn't agree, to do something like that. And he even thinks that she might not even be ready to be married. She was so in a rush to tell him that she loves him and trying to get him to, tell her the same thing. But now she want to kind of put the kibosh and kind of take her time and, you know, all of that. Um, yeah, I didn't understand that part because it's like, what did you sign up for? And she was like, well, I don't think I'm not comfortable with living in an apartment after you living in an apartment with him right now. And it's even worse, you got cameras in your face. And you consummated the marriage. I don't understand. Noy, what's going on? I mean, it just doesn't seem like from what's being portrayed that she doesn't appreciate him. I mean, not only did she exaggerate to her sister, she left out a lot of details. She was complaining about his job. She wasn't being honest about him actually contributing more financially and doing all the chores. And of course, he's looking like anybody that's hearing that would be like, this man is a bum, the way that Noy described him. But my thing is, he goes out of his way to help her with the dog. He's picking up poop. He's cleaning toilets. He's cooking. He's doing everything around that house. And she's telling him what to do. And when he asks for one thing, it's like, I really don't want to do that. So, yeah, I don't blame him for feeling some kind of way. Her behavior definitely cannot go ignored. It can't be ignored. And even though he might not be working during the day, but that doesn't mean that, he should act like he is her maid, dog walker, and cook all day long, because I know people had things to say about the whole Katina and Olajuwon situation with that whole thing with cooking and meals and cleaning and stuff like that. Okay, it works both ways, So all right, let's keep it moving. So we are going to talk about this next couple, which is Jasmine and Michael. So I thought they were pretty cute this week. Michael was so trying to connect with her that he decided to give Jazz the driving lessons. She has this fear of driving because she was in several accidents in the past. He was very patient with her and took the time to help her get over this fear. So I thought that was really cool of him. I thought they really made some strides this week. They're in a pretty good place. Later on, Michael did meet with his sister to talk about his marriage. He also, like I just said, he felt that they're in a better place, but they're still in the friend zone. He also doesn't feel like his effort is being reciprocated. And Michael has been asked to open up about a lot of painful moments, and we really haven't seen her do the same on camera. We don't know her outside, but we haven't really seen that. Meanwhile, Jazz admit to her mother that she doesn't have any feelings for him, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so disappointing. So they decided to cook dinner together. Michael and Jazz both acknowledged that things are finally going in a more positive direction. They're even, having fun together. And I don't know if this is enough. I mean, they act more like friends. I think he tried to throw something in there a little bit to try to get closer physically with her because he threw a joke out there. And I don't know if you guys missed it. And I'm trying to remember what it was. If you guys know what I'm talking about, drop it in the comment section. But I mean, if they actually made this work, I think if Jazz kind of relaxed and kind of, well, maybe she's not into him. I mean, you can't force nobody to have a connection. But I just wish that they had romantic sparks that, could take off, but I don't see it happening. So we gotta just hold our breath and wait and see, or maybe not. All right, so let's talk about our final couple. Our final couple this week, and I got a lot of different things to say about this because this is where I take issue with production that's really been playing with this couple this season. So the last time that we saw them, there was this whole argument about the dating app on her phone. And if you guys saw the previous video that I did, they had production showed us that he was looking through a white phone. The phone that she pulled out of her purse was a black phone. It wasn't her phone. And it's just a mess. Well, it gets worse this week. So even though they apologize and everything, which is what we got in this scene that I have up right now, they both hear each other's side. They both apologize to each other, got past the situation. Katina thought, in her words, that she forgot to delete the app, and he thought, for whatever reason, what we saw, what was told to us, that having that app shows that she wasn't invested in the marriage. Um, but at the end of the day, they apologize. He ends up speaking to his former coach about the recent argument over the dating app. Um, and the guy, was like, "Hey, I know who you are. You're a pretty cool guy, but you can't go, you got to just watch what you say, and then when you do make a mistake, you have to turn around and apologize." Pretty much is what the coach said. Katina meets with her sister-in-law about the relationship, and she definitely still wants to go through the progression of building a relationship with Olajuwon. She was like, "I am here, take me." I mean, she loved her some Olajuwon, it seems like. Um, but her sister-in-law was here for it. They were looking at his pictures with tats and everything, and she seemed to be pretty happy. She's like, "I'm over it. Let's just keep it moving." Here's my issue with this, and you guys that follow me on Instagram, you probably seen my post last night after the show aired, because it's one thing if you let things happen organically. I know editing plays differences, but they have really done a lot of editing with this particular couple. So obviously they're trying their best to make us see something since the whole Chris and Alyssa drama is going on. So if you haven't seen my community post, or if you haven't seen my Instagram post, this is what I am referring to. So I posted this because the scene right after the whole phone drama, which is this first scene below in this picture, there where the apology happened. He had this animal tattoo on the right side of his neck. Then later on in the episode, we get to the Taco Tuesday episode where, Katina decided to make tacos. It's Tuesday. She wanted to cook and set up everything. And I thought that was cute and all. But then that whole animal tattoo was not there. It wasn't there. And a lot of people noticed it. And, as a content creator, people send me things. So, one person hit me up in my DMs and say, "Did you see that?" And of course, I like to investigate. And sure enough, that was the case. I said at first it was the black and white phones. Now you're giving us scenes, obviously, that happened after decision day. There was actually two scenes. This was one because he got tattooed all the way up to his ears now. If you watch the after party, which is what we see in the apology scene. And then they also showed the individual scene where he was talking to producers and he had that big old tattoo on his neck. When in this scene, he didn't have that. So, I mean, it's like, it's one thing, and some people like, oh, see, he had to wait till after the season to apologize. What I think what happened is somebody didn't get the footage. Somebody dropped the ball behind the scene in production because a lot of people, if they, and just say all this blew up, everybody was pissed off over this until all of the phone stuff came out, right? However, this would be a similar situation to Miles and Karen because all we saw was negative. We never saw the progression of their relationship. And then on decision day, when they decide to say yes, and they're currently still married 2 years, people was like confused, like how the heck, what happened? What did so obviously they had to go back and clean this up. Like, wait a minute, where's that cut where they actually got past that whole fake phone scene? So now you gotta manufacture scenes and hey, can you take this clip and we'll stick it in here? It was crazy. So that's why I try to be mindful of what I say about people and about these characters reacting. I try to see what's there and then make a decision because, I mean, seriously, again, we see um, the tattoo on his neck right there. And then, of course, the Taco Tuesday at the top, there's nothing there. And that scene was supposedly happened after the apology. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Just be mindful. I know on the Married at First Sight Australia side, things are going awry right now, especially with Olivia, the girl, from what I heard, got kicked out of school. She lost her job, and people are calling for her arrest and all of this stuff because of what was happening on a TV show. And I mean, whether you agree with me or not, that's fine. But at the same time, if this is who she truly is, everybody got to be held accountable for their actions. But at the same time, production do play a part when it comes to these TV shows. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. I'm not going to continue to ramble on, but if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, drop your comments. I want to know what you thought about this episode and even this whole phone drama slash tattoo or not tattoo drama that we saw that clearly was bad editing. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye.